Good morning. My name is John Roth. I'm professor of history at Goshen College and a member of the Berkey Avenue Mennonite Church in Goshen, Indiana. To Pablo, Gina, and baby Loa, to the Toronto United Mennonite Church, los miembros de la Iglesia Menonita Nueva Vida, la gracia y la paz sean con todos vosotros. Grace and peace be with you all. It's a great joy and a great honor to be able to join you on this special occasion as we celebrate the ordination of our friend and brother Hyung Jin Kim's son, whom we also know as Pablo. Like the Apostle Pablo, your journey has taken you across many continents and cultures and countries, from Korea to Paraguay, to the United States, and now to Canada. At each stage of that journey, Pablo and Gina have committed themselves fully to understanding the cultures in which they found themselves, to building relationships with colleagues and neighbors, to pursuing education, both formal and informal, and perhaps most significantly, to contributing fully to the life of the local church. I first encountered Pablo exactly 8 years ago in October of 2012 when he introduced himself in an email as a student at Fuller Theological Seminary and also as the pastor of a Korean Mennonite church in Los Angeles called Church for Others. Enclosed in the message was the draft of an article that Pablo was submitting to a journal that I edit, the Mennonite Quarterly Review. That essay, which eventually appeared the following spring, was an exercise in constructive cross-cultural theology, in which Pablo applied Anabaptist understandings of the canonic hymn in Philippians chapter 2, the self-emptying of Christ, to the Korean cultural context. It was a bold and creative essay that made it clear to me that Pablo was a uniquely gifted scholar, someone whose intercultural competencies were precisely what is needed in the Anabaptist Mennonite tradition in the 21st century. Since then, my wife Ruth and I have come to know Pablo and Gina as friends. We have followed their pastoral work and studies at Fuller, cheered them on amid the challenges of the transition to Boston, and then watched from afar as Pablo and Gina continued their studies in Toronto, always working extraordinarily hard, often with little sleep, as they balanced work, studies, church life, and now the gift of parenting. At every stage of this journey, Pablo has always been a pastor. Anyone who knows him will recognize his gift for bringing people and cultures together, his good humor, his willingness to speak hard truths, the way he models vulnerability, and his deep and expansive vision for the life of the church. I'm deeply grateful to the congregation in Toronto who has recognized Pablo's training, his gifts, his calling as a pastor. He embodies the future of the Anabaptist Mennonite tradition, a deep commitment to the good news of Jesus, understood through an Anabaptist lens, but expressed in a remarkable range of cultural contexts. Pablo, I am honored to count you as a friend, as a brother in the faith, as an academic colleague, and now as an ordained pastor in the Mennonite Church. In the words of Paul to the church at Philippi, may your love abound more and more in knowledge and depth of insight, so that you may be able to discern what is best, and may be pure and blameless for the day of Christ, to the glory and praise of God. Amen.